Welcome to this presentation on the Major and Pipe Performance Improvement Model. I'm Kevin Theos. Theoretical Foundation and Use. Training is not always the solution to performance gaps, and as instructional designers, we will come across situations where training may be a partial solution or not a solution at all. By asking key questions about performance gaps, we can figure out where training fits in, if at all, and narrowing those gaps. Under this model, solutions should be practical or economical and sustainable or last over time. The Major and Pipe process is used to address workplace performance gaps. Pros and cons. To its advantage, the model does work well for identifying and approaching solutions to workplace performance issues, but if training is part of or largely the solution to a performance gap, the model doesn't have any approach to designing the instruction, so it's not especially suitable to those environments such as K-12 education. In this presentation, you'll learn the steps of the Major and Pipe performance improvement process, observe its application to a real-life scenario, and consider application of the process to a situation you are encountering or have encountered. Here's our real-life scenario. It's a mentoring program for tennis industry professionals that pairs mentors and mentees for a year. By the end of the program, mentees are to produce updated resumes with newer improved skills from having been in the program. Results of the program have demonstrated inconsistencies in terms of completing accountability forms, which are used to improve the program over time. Communication between mentors and mentees has also proven to be inconsistent, and the achievement of results have been inconsistent as well, as far as having updated and improved resumes. Volunteers run this program and have limits on their time, so all solutions have to keep those time constraints in mind. Application of the Major and Pipe performance improvement process. The first question they ask is, whose performance is concerning you? And then you go on to describe the performance gap. In our example, it's mentors and mentees, and we've had inconsistent communication, accountability form completion, as well as results by the end of the program. In the scenario you're imagining, whose performance is concerning you? And what are the performance gaps? The next question in the process is addressing this performance gap worth the effort? If not, then the process ends right there. Sometimes addressing performance gaps could be too expensive and it's not worth the effort. But if it is, then go on to ask if expectations are clear. And if not, then clarify those expectations. If they are, then look at if resources are adequate. And if not, then provide those resources. In our example, improving program quality is worth the effort according to the volunteers that run the program. At the same time, expectations could be reiterated, and that could improve performance in terms of completing accountability forms and communication with each other, as well as having updated and improved resumes by the end of the program. Mentors and mentees do have adequate resources to do everything that's expected in the program. In your case, is addressing the performance gap in the scenario you imagined worth the effort? Are expectations clear? Are resources adequate? The next question, is desired performance punishing? If so, then eliminate the punishment. If not, then is underperformance rewarding? And if so, then eliminate the reward. In our example, time zone issues and accountability form length could be perceived as punishing. Sometimes we've paired mentors and mentees who are on opposite coasts because their interests and skill sets were aligned. That creates some challenges in communicating with one another. Also, the accountability forms have been pretty lengthy, and that could present a barrier to completion of the forms. Mentors and mentees experience no other rewards other than saving time in underperforming. In terms of the scenario you've imagined, is desired performance punishing? Is underperformance rewarding? The next question, is underperformance due to a skill deficiency? If so, this is where training comes in. You provide the training. And if not, then consider if there are other obstacles to performance. If so, then remove those obstacles. And if not, then move on to develop solutions. In our scenario, results may be partially linked to a skill deficiency, as some mentors and mentees have asked for training in terms of how they should go about developing goals and completing those goals or achieving those goals. Further, emphasizing expectations could help. Those are other obstacles, perhaps, to performance here. In the scenario you're imagining, is underperformance due to a skill deficiency? Are there other obstacles to performance? And what are the solutions? Practical and sustainable solutions. In our case, reiterating expectations that mentors and mentees respond to each other in a timely way could help. Reducing the length of the accountability forms from 7 essay-type questions to only 1 or 2 that ask what is and isn't working in the program, that could help with the completion rate of the forms. Placing more emphasis on pairing mentors and mentees based on where they live, rather than exclusively on the alignment of their interests and skill sets, that could help with the communication barriers or issues that we've experienced up to this point. And providing them training involving a process for developing and achieving goals. And again, this is one of the weaknesses of this performance improvement model, that it doesn't provide any kind of guidance in terms of how one would put together instruction. In your case, what practical and sustainable solutions fit the situation that you've imagined? Conclusion. You've received an introduction to the Major and Pike performance improvement model. You've observed application to a real-life scenario, imagined its application to a learner-specific scenario. If you want to learn more about this model, here are some sources that you could access. Thank you very much.